All right, I wanted to start out this video blasting Billy Joel's A Matter of Trust, but I knew if I did, the copyright police would come and beat the crap out of Vicky again, and we don't want that happening, so I can't do that, but that's what this is going to be called, A Matter of Trust. Look at this. We'll start right here. Show them this. Okay, this is a 7 PRC. 7 CRC on a bat HR. Pay attention. Solid bottom single shot. One at a time. Throw it in, close the bolt. This has a Bixen Andy in it. I'm not going to do a trigger review right now. I like it, but I don't love it. This right now, as it's sitting here, has a Collis 3.5 to 18 by 50 on it. That is the customer scope. That's going to be important for this video. This is a Bartlett 1 in 825 that the customer picks. This is a Macmillan, I think McWoody, right? No. Or McWalnut. McWalnut. Anyways, look at the bottom metal too. Bat trigger guard, that's my escutcheon. We inletted a case head into there. Very nice gun. I mean, this is a very, very, very nice gun. Now, in a little bit, you're gonna see, we already shot this. And in a little bit, Vicky's gonna add that shooting video onto this video. But there's a lot to learn here. There's a lot to learn. And I guess I'll just start out right here. When we took the gun out to shoot it, I already had the customer scope in Badger Max 50. I had already done it in the shop here, set the rings on, done everything, mounted the scope. We took that scope back off and we put, come and show them this, we put my Collis 5 to 25 by 56 on it. You notice, these are steel rings, but they're not as wide as those Badgers. Now here's the deal. Only about a month ago, you saw me shooting this exact scope on a Sendero that I had rebuilt, rebarreled. That thing pounded one hole. Pounded one hole, right? If you remember, go back and look at that video. That was this scope. So we go out to shoot, and immediately, it was different. Let's put it that way. Something, I could tell right away, something was different. But I couldn't tell exactly what it was. And we were somewhat struggling, okay? And so what I'm going to show you is, and make sure that I'm very clear on this, what I'm about to show you is with this scope, right? So we had this scope on there. So come and show them these targets. Okay, that's a 5-shot, 0.79. But I want you to look at the spacing of them, right? That's a 5-shot. Here's a 3-shot, 0.63. That's a Handload, by the way. And here is the best one of the Handloads, okay? 0.49. Now look at the way they're shaped, right? And that's with the reloader 25. Now, a lot of people would probably think, wow, that's, 0.49, 0.63, 5-shot, 0.79, that's not bad, or even that's pretty good. I could tell something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I couldn't understand exactly where it was. In other words, and I do, one thing about trust is I do trust my shooting ability. I can shoot pretty good because I've been doing this a long time. And I could tell when the trigger was breaking that the hold was good. The hold was good. The crosshairs were where they should be. Everything felt good. And yet, the bullets didn't go through the same hole. They didn't go, not necessarily where I wanted them to go. They weren't patterning the way I wanted them to. All right, so in this video that you're about to see, I shoot. How many shells did I shoot? I wanted to know that. I thought I shot like almost 40 shells.
I think 37, 39.
In other words, I'm sitting there. I tried some factory ammo. Then I went through all of the Handloads that I had brought with me. And it was all okay. None of it was great. And something didn't feel right, but I didn't know what. All right, so just sort of subconsciously, which I had to do it anyways, I was going to put the customer scope on the customer's gun. I decided I'm going to do it right then and there. So I took this scope off. I took this off, this scope, and I put this scope on, right? I put this scope on just as you see it right now, okay? And I used, I don't know, you have to watch the video. I think I used 1 or 2 or 3 to get on the paper and then to get on at 100. I got on at 50, I got on at 100. Here's what I want to show you. Here's the very first group with that scope. The 0.17, and that is with the factory ammo, which, by the way, that's probably the better group over there too, was with that factory ammo. We didn't change anything. Nothing changed. And Vicki and I both, I mean, we just, as soon as I shot the first one, the second one went right through that exact same hole. That was the group right there. That was a 2-shot group. And I'm like, all right, now I got to bear down. That's the 3rd shot right there. And we both instantly turned and looked at each other and like, crap. I just spent all that time and energy shooting with that scope. Now, here's the thing about this. I could stand here and talk for hours about scopes, rings, rails, single spring erector systems, dual spring erector systems, quad coil spring erector systems. I mean, we could go down a very deep rabbit hole into, it's not just optics, because that's if we were going down that rabbit hole, which I'm not, there is a relationship between the scope and the rings. There's a relationship between the scope, the rings, and the rail. There's a relationship between how the rail is on the receiver. These are integral, this one piece. But again, that's a relationship. It's a piece of steel. It can't move. Without having a 2-hour discussion, what I'll tell you is it's subtle and it's vague, but it matters. And I'll go just a little bit, and this will blow your mind. And that's what I should say here. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to do a 2-hour discussion on it. Unless you're very knowledgeable, unless you're very experienced, unless you're a very sophisticated shooter, if I tell you moving this ring forward or backward 1/4 of an inch might actually change the groups you're getting out of your gun, you're not going to believe me. But just trust me, that's the truth. Where this ring is, where that ring is, where these rings attach to that rail, how much pressure you're grabbing this hold of this tube with, there's more going on than you can imagine. And then I'm gonna literally in a minute here stop with this line of thought. I had a guy here, I won't mention his name. The guy actually owns the company. He used to be like vice president of Night Force. He was in this room, and he told me this certain scope, very expensive, high quality scope. He said they see more defective return scopes because of one-piece mounts. In other words, and again, I don't want to use the name because I'm not trying to hurt the company, mounts that grab the scope here and here and is all one piece and that go on your rail. He said they see more defective, let's just use the word broken, more broken scopes from single piece mounts than any other thing. And I said to him, why? And you know what he said? I don't know. I don't know. And I want to tell you something now. These relationships between scopes, rings, rails, I don't understand it. I've been watching this crap for 50 years. I do not understand it. But I am telling you that what we saw on the paper there has something to do with it. Okay? And I will say this now, that's why I'm entitling this whole thing A Matter of Trust. Because people are going to ask this. We have already contacted Sona. That's Swarovski of North America. Vicki made a phone call. They're like, immediately, yeah, send it back, no problem. So the customer service is going to be outstanding. Now, when this gets there, do I expect that they're going to find something broken in here, like obviously broken, like an objective lens has spun or a spring has broken, or I don't. Whatever is going on here is very, very subtle. But the deal is, I lost my trust in this. I mean, this just 2 weeks ago was a trusted scope. Now it is not. And so if there's any takeaway about what I'm going to say here, there are only two kinds of scopes: proven and unproven. And it does not matter how much they cost. If you have a $500 scope that is proven, then it's worth gold. If you have a $5,000 scope that every now and then there's a mysterious flyer, or the groups are, the shape of the group is always the same, but it moves a little bit, or 100 other things, then that's an unproven scope. And the amount of money they cost has nothing to do with it. So there's proven and unproven. And it does not matter if it's brand new out of the box or you've had it for 20 years, which is a segue right into this next thing. The deal is, a scope is only as good as the last group you fired out of it. Somebody should chisel that on stone. That was pretty good, actually. So proven, unproven, it's only as good as the last group that you just fired out of it. And that's the point you trust it to. That's it. Because it's like a giant oak tree standing in the woods. It might have been standing there for 300 years. Totally solid, completely proven. But one day, that tree is going to fall and hit the ground. And you don't know what day that is. And that is if you really knew everything I know about this, and I probably don't know near as much as the optical engineers, you'd be out in the woods with a lever action, open-sighted, 30-30, and you'd be happy. And it's like, this is great, because all of this crap is nothing but complication. But you cannot put the bullets, you can't shoot 0.17 with open sights. It's just not going to happen. So we are where we are. Now, again, that's a segue into this, okay? See this? This is the only scope, I got to be very careful with my words. This is the only variable power scope that I have ever trusted. This is the only one. And I could say hundreds. I don't know if it's hundreds. I know it's dozens. Dozens and dozens, maybe indeed hundreds of scopes. I've had a lot of scopes. This, and I want to show you what this is. This, here, it's a Premier Reticles, and this is what it is. A Premier Heritage 5-25 56 tactical, and then blah, blah, blah. By the way, the Gen 2 XR reticle, very nice reticle. Now here's the deal, and I've told this story before, but I got this directly from Chris Thomas. If that doesn't mean anything to you, well, it's like Elvis gave it to me, okay? This came from him right when they were brand new. This serial number is, get this, 000445. This is number 445 that ever came out of their factory. Okay, and then there's a whole giant long story that goes along with this. This is the only one that I have ever trusted, and I trust it right now at this moment. Here's the issue, though, because I know somebody's going to say, well, why don't you just always use that scope? Well, you realize there's long actions, medium actions, and short actions. There is inch 250 barrels, inch 300 barrels, inch 325, inch 350 barrels, and bigger, okay? One scope in one set of rings cannot just be moved from a short to a long, low or high. In other words, you can't do that. I mean, you'd be literally, the only way you could use one scope would be you'd be switching rings all the time. And listen, that's back to what I just alluded to earlier. You'd have to pay me big money to take these rings off of here, because these rings, where they are, the positioning of them, the way they're torqued down, this thing has been reliable, trusted for 20 years. 20 years I've been shooting this thing. This thing has shot more one-hole groups than all my other scopes put together, and I've had some really good scopes. Along the way, I've had some Schmidt-Bender, the base model 5-25 Pleeks Markman II, just hammered. But this is the only one that is truly still trusted. Now I want to I want to show you a couple things here. So that's the Premier, okay? This is the box that Collis is getting ready to go back in. So that's the one that until just 2 weeks ago was hammering. I mean, it was just pounding one hole. Out of that 7 mag, it was amazing. It just hammered, okay? This is the customer scope that, again, was brand new. Remember, but brand new doesn't mean a dang thing, all right? What means something is it just shot a group that's 0.17, and I know tons of people are going to be, why didn't you shoot more, blah, 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 blah. Our shooting days sometimes start at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes in the summer, they don't end till 10 or 11 at night. We have bunks in our shooting trailer. Sometimes we go to the point of exhaustion, and we just go in there and go to sleep. We can't even leave the range. We've been there so long. So the whole deal of why didn't I shoot more? First of all, I didn't have any more hand loads. I only had factory ammo, and I already saw that. Once I see that, and I know how it felt when everything broke, it's like, I believe that's the way the gun shoots, okay? And now it's up to the customer, by the way, to find out. He'll send me targets and stuff as time goes on, and then we'll really know. By the way, that gun has 2 barrels. Two nearly identical barrels go with that gun. So once he gets this one shot out, he can go to the other one, blah, blah, blah. We won't go there. Now, you notice how when I said that's the only variable power scope that I have that I ever trusted. There's some other scopes I trust, still have that I trust. One of them, 2 of them are these right here. Show them that. Okay? Oh, and by the way, for all the people that aren't aware of this, these are discontinued. This now is tangent theta. And yes, at this very moment, we are working with Euro Optic and maybe directly with tangent theta. I'm going to try to get a new one of these, a new updated Premier that's now tangent theta. But you can't get that anymore. They went out of business. Okay, so this is a Schmidt-Bender straight 10 power, 42 millimeter objective, 30 millimeter tube, Police Marksman 2 with a P3. That's all they ever came in. I have 2 of these. Oh, if I was smarter and richer, I'd have 10 of these. I have the 2 that I have. One is on a 308 Winchester. One is on a 260 Remington. They're what I call my beater guns. They've been beat. They've been on horses, 4-wheelers, motorcycles, rolled down the frickin' mountain. I mean, almost anything you can think of has happened to them, right? I trust them so much, I let Vicky carry them. Okay? If you don't know what that means, that's a big deal, okay? Because if there's a place to fall down or a creek to fall in, go ahead and tell them, yes, you confirm that. There's not a creek that she's ever crossed that she didn't fall in, okay?
Confirm nor deny.
The point is, these 2 scopes have been on those 2 guns since the day I got them. And I zeroed them up at 200 yards, again, 20 years ago. They've been beat. I mean, just beat in every way you could think of. Guess what? You take it out, and Vicky will say to me, why are you doing that? Because each year, when it rolls around to fall, I'm like, I got to check the zeros. And she'll be like, why do you have to check the zeros? I'm like, I have to check the zeros because I'm obsessive compulsive and I don't trust anything, right? Okay, and she'll be like, all right. So we put up the target. The first stinking shot will go right back. You know, we use those targets that got that little orange dot on them. The first bullet will go exactly dead on at 200 yards for 20 straight years out of 2 different guns. And here's the interesting thing. I don't shoot those guns. If I pull the trigger, a coyote or something, a bear, and something is dying, right? So I don't really shoot them. I just drag them around, beat the crap out of them, right? Always maintain point of impact. One other thing. Very few people listen to me, right? Every guy that I have that bought one of these, but these are discontinued, every guy that I had that bought one of these, they call me up 5 years later. That's the best scope I've ever had. It never moves point of impact. It's awesome. Discontinued. The last customer I had get one of these supposedly got the last one in Australia. He was in the U.S. He paid to have that thing shipped from there. These things were awesome, and they discontinue it. Our loss. Now this one, same deal, discontinued. I've had this one for maybe more than 20 years. I've had this one maybe for 25 years. Show them what this is. This is a Swarovski. It is straight 8 power. In other words, just 8 power. It has a 50 millimeter objective. It has a 30 millimeter tube, and it has a 7A reticle in it, which is not the greatest reticle for what I do. It's not quite fine enough. This is also on a 308. And I mean like a beater 308, like a factory gun that I did a bunch of stuff to, shoots really good. Same deal. It does not move point of impact. It just stays the same year after year after year. It is a real shame that this really high quality stuff that was way better, in my opinion, way better. A variable scope is a very complicated instrument. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, right? A straight power scope, there's almost nothing going on in there, okay? You got your internal erector tube, you got a reticle, pretty much that's it. There's nothing in there, right? They are more reliable, more reliable. All right, so here's the thing. Look at this. And this is the big question. The big philosophical question for today is, how do you know whether you're testing your gun or you're testing your scope? And the truth is, unless you're really an advanced shooter, unless you have real skill at shooting, unless you have knowledge that you can recognize patterns on the paper, in all likelihood, you don't know. So the scenario is, say you take a gun out, and let's just say the gun's actually capable of shooting 1/4 of an inch, but the scope is only capable of shooting 1/2 an inch. What that means is you're testing the scope. You're not testing the gun. Now in reverse, let's just say you have a gun that's only capable of shooting 1/2 an inch, but the scope is capable of 1/4 of an inch. Well, now you're testing the gun. The problem is most people cannot differentiate between that last 1/4 of an inch. It's really easy if you have a bad scope that shoots 3 inches or puts one up here and one over here and one over there, does that in a repeatable pattern, which I've seen that, by the way. That's really easy. You can diagnose a really bad scope really easy, but a scope that is only, its point of impact is only wandering around, say 1/4 of an inch, that's extremely hard to diagnose. And most guys don't have a gun that's capable of doing it. Say the short range bench rest guys, the 6 PPC guys, they know, they can figure it out. And by the way, here's an interesting thing about always been a matter of trust. Most of those guys travel with 2 scopes. Some of them 3 scopes. A lot of the F-class guys do too, because we're all aware of the fact that scopes go bad, and they can go bad like that. All right, on to the next video. Okay, so today is November the 5th, 2024. Today's election day. We went and voted early this morning. In fact, we were the first people in line. I hope you were also. This has been a long time in coming. This is a 7 PRC. This is a bat, HR, solid bottom, single shot. This is, here, I want to make sure that I tell you everything correctly. This is, and of course, this is a Macmillan. I think that's a McWoody, not McWoody, McWalnut, right? This is a Bartland. It's a Bartland 1 in 825. And so for all the guys who were saying that the 7 mag versus the 7 PRC thing wasn't a fair contest, I want to show you something. So this barrel is about 27 1/4 inches long. It is, I believe, 1.3 at the breech. I think it was 750 at the muzzle. This has a Bixen Andy, and I can't tell you off the top of my head which model it is. This is a Bixen Andy in here. Watch this. It is nice, I will say that. I don't know whether I like that better than the Hubers or not. I don't know, because I don't have enough experience with them. I have my Cullis 5 to 25 on top of there, which is what I'm gonna shoot groups with. But this, if you want to see the difference, I thought this is kind of interesting. So now you can literally see them side by side. Okay, so that is the Cullis 3.5 to 18 by 50. It is in Badger Max 50 rings. These are Badger steel rings because they're higher, because I got a bigger objective bell, so I need more clearance for the barrel. But anyway, show them that. Come over here behind me and show them that. So that 3 to 18, it's still, you know, it's not a normal hunting scope because it's heavy, but I mean, it's pretty darn nice scope. When we finish up, we'll put it on there and zero it, but for shooting groups, I wanted it to be the same scope, because that's what I was shooting those 7 mags with, is that Cullis 5 to 25. I think that's all for that gun. Oh, here, show them the bottom of it. I showed this somewhere in another video. This thing came out really nice. So, you know, I make this discussion. That's in another video. I inletted that case head, the bat trigger guard. I mean, it came out really, really nice. This is a nice gun. This is, what is this? Aged bronze?
Yes.
Aged bronze. So that's a, like I said, that's a McWalnut.
No, it's
Duracoat aged bronze, bat HR with an integral rail, with an integral lug, 20 MOA rail. It's just really a nice gun. It really is. Now, come over here, because I want to show you some of this stuff. So, show them the side of that gun. So it's a 7 PRC with a 316 neck in it. Because again, everybody's whining and complaining, saying, oh, that's not fair. You have custom chamber in the 7 mag. Well, guess what? We have a custom chamber in this 7 PRC also. And yes, it is. It's a Bartlein 1 and 825. This is ADG brass. It was pretty darn high quality. I thought it was pretty good, but show them what I got here. So these are all 190 grain Burger long range hybrid target, whatever it is. Those are all, it's all Burgers. And what I did is, they are all seated to max soft seat jam. In other words, as long as they'll go in the gun. None of them have the bullet, because this is a custom reamer, even though it's 7 PRC, none of them have the bullet below the shoulder neck junction. Here, I might as well show you one. So it's not like the 7 mag was any different than this. In other words, we set these up to be optimized as much as possible. So I mean, that's a great big beautiful bullet, 190 grain, and it does not, the actual full diameter of the bullet does not cross the shoulder junction. I don't know, I have bullets here somewhere I could show you, but anyways, so the 7 mag was optimized as much as we could. This 7 PRC is optimized as much as we could. Now, here's the deal. Look, follow along so they can see this. So this is all, as you can see, reloader 25. All right, so what I did is I looked at all the published data, right? The max for reloader 25 is right here, 68 grains. 68 grains is the max of any published load data for 7 PRC. So what I did is I started at 67, 67 and a half, 68, 68 and a half, 69. So that is 1 full grain over any published maximum. So don't do that. I'm telling you right now, don't do that. This is a bat receiver. That's a heavy barrel. It's a custom chamber. It's built properly. Don't go over max in any published data. Whatever the published data is, don't go over max. I just want to see, because I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you were running the 7 mags at higher velocity, higher pressure. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. All I know is we didn't have any pressure signs. And I am willing to go 1 full grain over if we could actually load 1 shell at a time, like 69, 69 and a half, 70. I thought about bringing everything out here to do it, but I want you to turn around and show them. It is not a good day. look at the wind flags. I mean, it is a dang windy day. I got every wind flag I own out there. And I'm going to try to shoot in the same consistent conditions, but it's going to be difficult. So we have all that, but what we're going to start with is show them these. Of course. Always have things the way they don't need to be. See if you can go zoom slowly so they can see it. So I have two different kinds of factory ammo. You got it? Go in and out slowly. So this is Hornady 175 grain ELDX, and this is Hornady 180 grain ELD match. And so what I'm going to do is and we have the chronograph set up so that we can actually see the numbers. The gun's brand new, never been fired. I'm going to start with this 175 grain ELDX, and I'm going to shoot some groups, clean it, shoot some groups, clean it. Then I'll shoot some groups with this Hornady match, and then I'm going to go to the Handloads. So I think that's about it. Vicky's got to get a camera downrange, and then we're going to start shooting. Okay, so we used one shot to get on the paper with the 175 grain ELDX. The number was 2,915. So now she's got the camera on at 100. I'm going to go ahead and shoot a group with this factory ammo at 100. Show them flags, Vicky. I have no idea what to do about that. $29.31, almost touching. $29.22, pretty big flyer. All right, I'm going to stop and clean it. Yeah, that one's definitely out of there, and that wasn't, is it still running?
Yeah.
That wasn't me, that was the ammo. All right, so we're going to clean it. Okay, so that's the first, that would be shots 2, 3, 4. Something I should have mentioned. So I have these all set up at Maxsoft Seat Jam, and the number's over there. I can't remember what it is. But I measured with my comparator, I measured these and I measured this factory ammo. And I think this box is jumping almost 60 thou, and I think that box is jumping 40 thou. So I don't really expect them to shoot one hole. This 190 grain stuff I do. But I want to get some rounds through it before, because these are all the hand loads I have with me. I want to get some factory rounds through it first. Okay. You know what? I got to go down. Okay. All right, you ready?
Ready.
So I'm going to put 3 or 5 more of these factory rounds through it. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put the first one in the dirt. I'm not going to put it on the paper. I got a lot of wind. I mean, look at them flags. $29.25 and nothing great. $29.28. And I mean, it's a triangle, but it's about an inch. Again, I don't expect this stuff to shoot good. I really don't. All right, so I'm gonna stop, clean the gun again. Matter of fact, we haven't shown cleaning in a while, have we? Let's show cleaning. We haven't done that in a little while. Hilo, come and help me. Put that stuff down. All right, Mickey, I need you over here. Are you running?
Running.
All right, so why don't you give Hilo the camera?
Okay.
And you help me, Vicky. Here. All right, so bore guide. We include a bore guide with every gun we make, okay? This is Barnes CR10. Hilo, you have to look what we're doing here.
I am.
Barnes CR10, and I don't spare it. I mean, watch it come flooding out the end of the barrel. Okay. All right. Patch. Hilo, up here. This is a Dewey rod. Watch it come out the end, Hilo. Show them how dirty it is. That's only 4 shots.
Ugh.
Okay, CR10. Watch it come pouring through. Okay, up here.
Stop telling me.
Push it through. Look at it, filthy.
Yuck.
Still filthy.
I'm guessing 2 more.
Again. All right, Hilo, up here.
Stop telling me. Still
Okay,
filthy.
another one.
I'm
Vicky.
more.
Another one.
I was wrong. My predictions was wrong.
Okay, now watch. Cano coil.
Awesome stuff. Really blows.
Okay, ready? We need to go to bigger patches. These aren't quite tight enough. Okay,
One
ready?
more. I'm predicting 1 more. And yes, I am holding the camera.
Again,
My predictions are wrong.
probably 1 more.
Again. Oh. so.
All right, so then pull your bore guide. Clean out your chamber. Wipe the raceways down. Wipe the top of the trigger down. Vicky, hold this gun. Okay, then take your bolt. Hilo, over here.
I'm seeing.
You have to pay attention. Grease on the back of the lugs. Just a little. Okay. Grease on the extraction, primary extraction. And a little bit. Show them in there. A little bit
In there? Oh, I see.
in on that helix.
Coming out on the end.
Okay. Done.
Mom is handing him the gun.
Okay, and then we'll put 1 in the dirt and go back to shooting.
I have to change the target.
Go ahead and
Bye.
get the camera off of her.
Oh, God, my face. Good job.
That's gonna be funny.
Okay, so that's the second group out of it. It's getting a little bit better. That's normal. Barrels generally get better. But I went and looked it up. Here, lay this over here for a minute. So here's my numbers. My numbers for the 190 grain burger from Microsoft Seat Jam on my comparator is 3618. So I went and looked. These are actually jumping 60 thou, approximately 60 thou if you're going off of my comparator number. And these are jumping 70 thou. So my bullets are 70 thou longer than factory 7 PRC. And so that's what I'm talking about, optimizing it. So I just cleaned the gun again. I am going, and I put one in the dirt, so now I'm going to switch to this stuff. And again, I don't expect this stuff to shoot when it's jumping that much. I do expect these to shoot, but we're giving it every chance. Plus, I want to see what the chronograph numbers are on these. $29.29, which is almost exactly the same as those other ones. $29.34. Little bit smaller. They're not touching though. Two through one hole, that's definitely the smallest group. Smallest group so far. The group didn't get any bigger. Little wee bit bigger, but it's still, for factory ammo, it's not that bad. The number was 29.38. All right, so I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna clean it, I'll put another one in the dirt, and then I'm gonna go to these hand loads and we'll see what we got. But, you know, remember what we're out here to do. We're not out here to see how good the gun shoots. We're out here to make sure we don't have a bad barrel so the customer doesn't get a bad barrel. And also it's for my own curiosity. But I had no hope that this factory ammo would really shoot. Not when the bullet's jumping that much. I mean, it's just, it's not hand loads. That's good reason to hand load. Hopefully these are all gonna go in one hole. We'll find out. All right. And so what is this? What is this? Is this running?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the 180 grain ELD match, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, can you see it? I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not great. I'll tell you something else that's interesting. You know, I shoot an awful lot of 7 mags in about this exact same configuration. Everybody would assume there'd be less recoil with the 7 PRC. It seems like there's more to me, more recoil. And I wonder if that's because they're running higher pressures than the 7 mag. I don't know, but it's definitely snappy. And this is not a light gun. It's not a super heavy gun, but it's not light. And the chronograph numbers are averaging, what do you think? They're averaging about 29.30.
Yes.
Right? For 180s. Well, out of 7 mags with 180s, a lot of times we're running over 3,000. Some of them almost 3,100. So far, I'm not super impressed. Let's see how it does with hand loads. Here, Vicki, take this back. All right, now I'm going to hold up so that you know what it is. So we're going to start out with 67 grains of Reloader 25. I already put a fouling shot in the dirt. Okay? Is that camera running?
Yes.
$27.91. The point of impact was the same as that factory stuff, so that's good. Pretty small, not touching though. 'Twenty-seven 91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27.91. 27. Well, it's by far and away the smallest group. 2797. And I would say it went, I don't know, it went between 1/2 and 3/4 inch. Okay, so you're gonna need to run down, switch the target, and I'm not gonna clean the gun. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot. You ready? Okay, so there's the first group with hand loads. And I mean, that just shows you why you should hand load. And this is max soft seat jam. We're not messing with powder. We're not doing anything. All I did was seat them bullets as long as they'll go, shoot them, and immediately you get a smaller group. And the chronograph numbers running like right at 2800. So now, same exact thing, but we're going to 1/2 grain more. Everything identical, 1/2 grain more. And I did not clean the gun. Okay, so take that back. I don't know how I'm supposed to shoot small groups in that. I really don't.
Pretty windy.
$27.83. That seemed kind of weird, and that's a big flyer too. Where you at? It's a triangle, but it's ugly. It's not small. I mean, it's not horrible, but $27.90. So that seems kind of a little bit strange right there also. All right, well, I hate to tell you, I gotta have another target because I'm not gonna clean it. I'm going straight to the next group.
Okay.
So here we're going. Show them. We're going to 68 grains, reloader 25. And like I said, that was max in the book. But it isn't even in the book yet. All right, stand behind me, please. Here we go. $28.63. $28.35.
Okay, that is F. I ran out of battery, it stopped. But this was group F, as in Frank.
$28.24, and it's not pretty. All right, I am going to stop and clean it, then I'll put a fouling shot through it. I only have 6 more. Okay, so we're going to 68.5. Again, I've only got these 3 and 3 more, and then I'm out. Okay, get out of there. $28.34. $28.84. I mean, the numbers are all over the place. $28.45. I mean, it's all right. Not one hole. All right, so you're gonna need to switch the target. I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot that last batch. All right, so that's the group we just shot. Again, nothing great. And then the chronograph numbers, that was a half a grain over book max. The chronograph numbers, we're not even to 2850, which is not all that impressive to me at all. I wish that I had brought other bullets, and I wish that I had brought other powder, because what I'm seeing here, at the very least, I'm seeing seating depth work, definitely, with these 190s. But I'll tell you what, if I had them here, what I would try, I would immediately I'd drop back to the 184 burgers, and then if that didn't work, I would jump up to the 195 burgers, which I have a bunch of those, and I would switch powder. I don't like the numbers coming across the chronograph at all. Not only is it slow, they're not consistent at all. So far, nothing great. This next one is a full grain over any book max. 69 grains I'm going to, and we'll see what we get.
Sorry about that. I missed the first shot of that last target. I apologize. I thought you were still dry firing.
2900 on that first one.
2,900.
Point of impact is different. I don't know why. $29.10. Same deal, kind of an ugly triangle. That part of it's telling me it would be seating depth. But it definitely didn't like these bullets. It doesn't matter whether it likes the powder or not, that's slow, 2862. So like I said, that's a full grain over max. So I mean, I'm definitely not impressed. I gotta take the scope off, and I got to put the customer scope on. I'll go back, I'll shoot at least another group with the, what shot best? That match ammo, right?
Match did.
And I'll zero it up with that. I'll have to talk to the customer. Hopefully he knows enough about hand loading to basically start over, because what you're gonna need to do is, you're gonna need to switch powder. I would say switch bullets, definitely. Like I said, I'd try the 184s. I don't know, I might try the 195 burgers next. But you're gonna have to try something, because this isn't shooting the way that I want it to shoot. But remember, what we're here for is we're here to see if it got a bad barrel. Well, that's definitely not a bad barrel, because it's trying to shoot. So I'm gonna switch scopes. Okay, so we took my 5 to 25 off. We put the customer's 3.5 to 18 on. It took me 3, 1 at 50 and then 2 at 100 to actually get zeroed up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and shoot another group or two with this 180 grain ELD match, which seems to be the only thing that this gun liked to shoot so far. So is the camera on down there?
Yes, it is.
All right, so let's see. And how many shells we got through this now? We've probably got about maybe 25 shots.
34.
34 shots is through this gun now?
Yep.
That's fouling shots and everything,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna see what I can do. $29.34. None of these numbers impress me at all. The factory ammo or the The hand loads didn't either. It's slow. Wow, through the exact same hole.
Nice.
Right through the same dang hole. The wind, show them the wind. The wind has definitely died down some, but it's still definitely not calm. I'm gonna wait on this because it'd be really nice to punch this one right through there too. Although see, it's going everywhere. I mean, it's switching 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, back and forth. Wow. Right through the exact same hole. Now, you know what I'm thinking. This kind of stuff, you know, there's no way I can impress upon you the thought that's in my head right now. So it didn't shoot, it didn't shoot, it didn't shoot. And then we switched scopes and it just put three through the exact same hole. You know what I'm thinking? I mean, that's under 1/4 of an inch. Easily. I'm sending that scope back.
That's
Because that, you know, and I'm telling you, this kind of stuff can drive you insane. So, and that's not a definitive test. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing that just changed.
right.
I lifted that scope off, put this scope on, and the very next group goes right through the exact same hole.
And it changed.
And I know everybody's going to say, well, do it again, do it again. I don't want to do it again. The minute, first of all, I don't trust anything, ever. I've been doing this for 50 years. I don't trust anything, ever. But when I see something weird like that, even if I couldn't sit here now and prove that that's what it is, I would never trust that again. Never. You sure that camera was on down there?
Yes.
So, oh my God. Is it any wonder I have no hair and gray hair? This is just... And the thing is, that scope, I have one scope that I trust, and that's my old original Premier. That's the only scope that I trust. And I should have, see, and that's what people be saying like, okay, so you know what we should do right now, and I'm not gonna do it. We should lift this scope off, put the Premier on it, and see if it punches one hole. All right, that's the end of this video because I'm probably gonna have a stroke or a heart attack within about the next 30 seconds, so see ya.
It's not funny.
God dang. So Sharonan?
Yes.
All right, so we went down and got the target. There it is. Now that is absolutely unbelievable. And we just went through all of those other targets, and them groups are all the same. So how many shots, Vicki?
30.
Like
37.
So I put 37 shots through the gun. That means I put 37, 36, 34 shots. I lifted off my 5 to 25. I put his 3 to 8, 3.5 to 18 on, and the next 3 shots went through the exact same hole. Now, it just started pouring down rain. So even if I want to try to figure out what just happened, I can't, because I'm not going to put targets out when I don't want everything to get wet. But I guarantee you, I'm sending that scope back. I guarantee it. I will not trust that thing ever again, even if that's not what it is. So this is the thing that is so difficult to communicate to people, especially inexperienced people, about guns. And that's how I got into this. That's how I ended up building guns. I mean, this endeavor has taken over my life simply because I wanted this kind of group. This is what I want. I want them all in one whole. And there are so many variables that if you're just a normal guy, and say you don't have a lathe, and you don't have a milling machine, and you don't have all... If you're not building your own guns, there's just another 500 variables that you have no control over whatsoever. You don't even actually have a concept of what all those variables are. It's too much to put into words. This whole thing with guns, if you have a rifle that'll do this, you should cherish that thing to a degree that is almost unhealthy, really, because to get them to do this is incredibly hard, unless, and even then, unless it's a 6 PPC or a 6 BR or a 222, you can get those guns to shoot. But to take a gun of this level, this caliber, this magnitude is a better word, and to pound all the bullets through one hole, there's no way you can even begin to imagine what is involved in that, unless this is what you do for your profession or your obsession, your hobby. But all I'll say out of this now is I'll never trust that scope again. It's out of here. That scope is going back. And I like to find out whether that's what I really would. But again, it's raining and it's windy, and so hopefully the customer, I hope that he is advanced enough in his whole knowledge of shooting that he will let me know what happened. And if he does, I will let you guys know what happened. But that's it for today. And I mean, what a way to end. Holy cow. You have no idea how much stress this causes me when we bring one out and the bullets don't go right through the same hole, because I've eliminated every possible variable so that when we come out here, they do all go through the same hole. And people think, wow, it's just like you just come out and they just all go through the same hole. And it happens a lot. But like you saw today, I was struggling big time, really struggling, trying to figure out what is going on. Switch scopes and it goes to one hole. See you later.